Keiichi Tsuchiya is a true drift legend who popularized this discipline worldwide, sometimes even breaking the law, which later cost him his career. In the end, we'll show how at the age of 67 he continues to drift sideways, inspiring millions of people, and we'll explain why he's earned the nickname Drift King. You will learn his entire story from racing on snow-covered mountains to the Drift Bible, which became a textbook for several generations of drifters. How did the history of this unusual racing discipline begin? The history of drifting dates back to different sources, but they all agree that Japan is considered the birthplace of this unique way of navigating track curves. The first attempts to use control slides to go faster around turns can be traced back to the 1930s, when European Grand Prix racers experimented with the rear axles of their cars. However, the true birth of drifting is commonly associated with the land of the rising sun. In the 1970s, on winding mountain roads, street racers in Japan started exploring a new way to take turns with minimal speed and torque loss. In other words, going sideways to maintain maximum acceleration on the straights. Their inspiration came from a motorcycle racer named Kunimitsu Takahashi. He was the first Japanese rider to win a stage of the World Championship for road racing, achieving victory in the 1961 German Grand Prix. He also demonstrated his skills in Spain and France in 1962 and could have won many more titles if it weren't for a serious accident on the Isle of Man, which ended his motorcycle racing career. However, this accident opened up a new path for him. Kunimitsu Takahashi returned to the world of car racing, but this time as a car driver, and he began winning again. His list of achievements included the Japanese Grand Prix, Japanese Formula 2000, participation in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and even experience in the world of Formula 1. However, his true recognition came not from his titles but from his unique car control style. Takahashi entered turns at the limit speed, creating excessive maneuverability at the apex, allowing him to maintain speed and a precise trajectory. This art of controlling the car at the edge, combined with impressive smoke from burning rubber and the elegance with which his car exited the turn, left a lasting impression on a young Keiichi Tsuchiya, who considers Takahashi his mentor. This is where the story of the real Drift King begins. On January 30, 1956, in the Japanese city of Nagano, Keiichi Tsuchiya was born, a man who would completely revolutionize the history of automobile racing. Like many other pilots, he began his career at a very young age, participating in local Japanese championships where he didn't achieve any outstanding results. Just like all the boys of that time, he loved cars and tried to get closer to them. But after the races, he went where his heart truly called, the mountains. There he learned the art of drifting, acquiring skills that would form the foundation of his future success in the world of drifting. Keiichi's favorite pastime was playing with the parking brake, forcing his car into deep slides. This fun activity allowed him to master the principles of car control and learn how to feel the weight of the car shifting through the turns. The Drift King didn't just burn tire, he explored mountain roads and learned to control the car with ease, shifting it from one axis to another. He spent a lot of time going through every turn 1,000 times, studying how to take it with a sharper attack angle without losing speed and retaining control. This undoubtedly was not the safest way to learn, but it was on the mountain passes that Keiichi acquired the skills that would later make him a drifting legend and enable him to avoid mistakes during races. Winter snowfalls taught Keiichi Tsuchiya to handle snowy roads. He kept sliding not because it was the optimal way to navigate turns, but because it brought him childlike joy and adrenaline. Do I even need to mention how beautiful and unusual it was for that time? Nowadays we see mountains and drifting on serpentine roads in every other movie, but he was inventing it himself, risking rolling down the slopes each time. His driving skills improved with each new sliding maneuver, and he diligently learned new piloting techniques. Joining a group of racers, Keiichi learned about a secret event called the Sunny Cup, which was financed by one of his friends. Here he realized that he needed not just a regular car, but a racing machine to achieve his ambitious goals. At the same time, many professional racers were skeptical about the idea of drifting in regular races, especially in braking zones. However, Keiichi proved that this technique could be effective in strategically justified places where sharp maneuvers and inducing the car into a slide allowed for changing the trajectory and overtaking competitors. For opponents, it looked amusing when a guy almost losing control started drifting through turns. But if in the early races it was all fun and bewilderment, Later it became a silent question because even with low-powered cars, Keiichi managed to keep up with them. Drift became what Tsuchiya considered his secret weapon, the ability to go sideways in braking zones and still maintain a higher speed when exiting the turn than anyone else on the track. Understandably, this technique was riskier and other racers simply didn't dare to attempt it. But the beauty of the slide and the grace with which Drift King shifted the car's weight could not leave anyone indifferent. The Kurata Jidusha racing team offered Keiichi Tsuchiya a chance in the world of professional motorsports by inviting him to become a driver in the F3 category. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in his racing career. As part of the Kurata team, he received valuable advice and learned to use drift more strategically to preserve the tires and engine of his car over long distances. Gradually, he advanced in motorsports and outgrew the Sunny Cup, receiving an invitation to compete in the N2 category. It's worth noting that this was the highest level a Japanese driver could aspire to at the time. Keiichi always aimed for victory, but it constantly eluded him. He was an average racer, but he won the hearts of all spectators thanks to his unconventional driving style. And here we must also talk about the legendary N2 AE86 car, which is impossible to imagine without Keiichi and Keiichi without it. The Toyota AE86 was available in two body styles, a two-door coupe and a three-door hatchback. The coupe weighed 950 kilograms, while the hatchback weighed 970 kilograms. Due to the weight difference and the greater rigidity, the coupe became more popular among racing enthusiasts. Interestingly, both body styles were available in two versions: the Corolla 11 with rectangular headlights and the Sprinter Trino with pop-up headlights that could be hidden under the hood. Worldwide, the car is known as the Hachiroku, which translates from Japanese as the number 86. This was the last rear-wheel drive Corolla in Toyota's history. The sport versions of the Hachiroku, the Sprinter Trino and 11 were equipped with legendary 4A series engines with 16 valves and the capacity to produce up to 97 kW, which is equivalent to 130 horsepower. These engines had outstanding characteristics such as longevity, ease of tuning, and reliability, giving them an advantage over many other cars. Additionally, they emitted an incredibly satisfying roar, making them even more appealing to racers and car enthusiasts. The Toyota AE86 also set the standards for the Japanese Touring Car Championship. Exceptional racing cars were created based on this model. The car also excelled in other speed competitions. Races where two identical cars started on a winding road and raced together until one overtook the other by a few car lengths were very popular in Japan. The Toyota AE86 truly earned its reputation as a legend of motorsports and drifting. The model was produced for only 5 years, which makes it a rarity today, not to mention its association with the Drift King. So when Keiichi Tsuchiya sat behind the wheel of his brand new NT AE86, which had been specially prepared for him by the TRD team, he realized that this was truly his car. Despite his rookie status, he showcased incredible skills on both wet and dry tracks, dominating races and displaying an extraordinary driving style. With the support of Yokohama, which became a sponsor of the Kurata Carrot team, he was able to try himself in several local teams. It's worth noting that Tsuchiya maintained good relations with everyone, always being characterized as a true prankster and joker. But circuit racing in Japanese championships wasn't the only accomplishment of the Drift King. In 1995, at the 24 Hours of Le Mans race, he became the winner in his class, securing the 8th position overall, driving a Honda NSX. In 1999, he could have repeated his performance with the Toyota GT1, but had an accident that damaged a tire. Nonetheless, he set the fastest lap and came in second in his class. After Keiichi had gained media popularity, he took part in NASCAR exhibition races in 1998 at the Suzuka circuit and Twin Ring Motegi. However, Keiichi Tsuchiya had his dark moments in his biography. His driver's license was temporarily suspended due to traffic violations. He often went to the mountains to drift, sometimes breaking traffic rules even in places where it was dangerous for other drivers. As a young and hot-blooded racer, he loved not only to have fun by himself but also became a legend of local street racing. Naturally, this came to the attention of his team management. This happened precisely when he was participating in professional races, which disappointed his team's leadership. Nevertheless, his reputation grew among like-minded enthusiasts and young Japanese car lovers. On November 15th and 16th, 2003, the final round of the Japanese GT Championship took place at the Suzuka circuit. At the age of 47, Keiichi Tsuchiya announced his departure from professional motorsports, but it was the beginning of a new life that would inspire millions of people around the world. In 2004, in an interview, Keiichi Tsuchiya predicted that drifting fans wanted something more exciting and dangerous than beautiful and clean Japanese drifting by the rules. This prediction came true. Videos like Ken Block's Gymkhana series became very popular, and the global audience began to appreciate more extreme and risky aspects of drifting. Many videos of street stunts shot by enthusiasts appeared on YouTube, attracting a huge number of views. The Drift King never publicly discussed his personal life. It is known that he is not married, that he was born into a complete family and has a younger sister. He doesn't have any children. He dedicated his entire life to motorsports and drifting, and it's challenging to find photos of him posing with women, as other famous racers often do. But there are plenty of pictures of him with his beloved Hachiroku. In addition to racing, Keiichi Tsuchiya also actively participated in various video shoots, wrote columns for magazines, appeared on television shows, and even participated in popular radio programs. He was loved for his wit, always uplifted spirits, and had a philosophical approach to life. His racing colleagues appreciated him for his lack of pretension, which is often characteristic of many champions. He began teaching young drifters, even releasing a series of videos with the ironic title Drift Bible, where he explained all the nuances of controlled sliding from a first-person perspective. The material was genuinely exceptional, and several generations of professional racers began their journey with it. Keiichi has his video magazine VTEC Club and took part in various projects including the television anime One Gun Midnight and Initial D. Moreover, he appeared in the movie The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift as a fisherman who commented on the main character's drifting. There he also consulted stunt doubles and actors, helping to execute some complex stunts. After concluding his racing career, Keiichi Tsuchiya remained in the world of motorsports and professional drifting as an official judge for the D1 Grand Prix. He even owned a suspension company called K-Office before selling it in 2005. By the way, he always stood out at various events due to his signature clothing color, jade green, a style adhered to by many D1 Grand Prix participants and K-Office staff, paying tribute to the legend. In 2014, he announced a joint venture with the King of Europe Pro Series to create the King of Asia Pro Series. He also served as one of the main judges at several important races within the King of Europe Drift Pro Series competition. His contribution to the world of drifting is immeasurable, and he continues to be an active guest at various automotive shows. The name Keiichi Tsuchiya has become synonymous with drifting. For example, CMRA racer Kayla Rudolph was nicknamed the Keiichi Tsuchiya of motorcycle racing for the way he rode before entering the track, sliding the rear wheel of his motorcycle. It's important to understand that today drifting is a mass phenomenon, with serious international competitions and multi-million-dollar contracts resulting in incredible media recognition. Tsuchiya didn't have any of this. He drove the way he loved, and he had nowhere to gain his knowledge of control other than from snow-covered winding tracks and risking his own life. That's precisely why Keiichi Tsuchiya earned the title of the True Drift King. For a life fully dedicated to controlled slides, he single-handedly popularized what millions of spectators now admire. Thanks for watching.